Good morning, friends. I'm back with another junk journal that I just finished this last weekend. I'm calling her Fun. She's an old English book, textbook from I think the 30s or 40s. It was Essentials of English Higher Grades. I've done an exposed spine that is a 3-hole punch stitch. I have her tied in a long black boot or shoestring that I got somewhere along the line. The picture on the front is a copy of an old book that I got at an antique shop, and the book is like landscape size, and this is the focal point here. It was fun in painting and drawing for young Americans is what the name of the book was, and I just thought it was such a pretty little vintage painting, and I scanned it and cut it down just to make the size of this book. I've sewn around that and I've applied it to the book. I thought she turned out really pretty. The back has a great big ink splot on it. I've sealed the entire cover with let's see, it's a sealer that painters use for their collage medium. Okay, she's I've got the information somewhere else. I've lost it along the way. That's typical for me. Miss Scatterbrain. She's about 7 1/4, between 7 1/4 and 7 1/2 tall. She's 5 and almost a half wide, and I'm thinking it was about an 1.25 inch spine. The inside of the spine has been reinforced with fabric that looks really nice here. And she's 3 signatures with 11 pages plus each for 132 plus pages. The front cover has a little pocket here. That's my thank you card, and a pretty journal card that goes with the cover. Inside cover was just some scrapbook paper that I liked and that went well with this. And on the back there's a place to journal, and this little pull is made from some old pillowcase, I think, where the hem was. Makes kind of a fun vintage look. And as usual, it's nature, garden, flower, birds themed. The beginning of each signature has this pretty crochet trim at the bottom. I've glued it and I've hand stitched it. And since I hand stitched it, I glued some paper. This is actually some paper that was left over from cutting this one down. I thought it looked pretty there. Okay, so there's lots of coffee dyed paper mainly, and maybe a book page or two, and digitals from my Etsy store. Lots of writing surfaces. I have torn edges. This is some grid paper. The back of this, or the page here that this is on, I think this is in my Etsy shop. This is just a belly band that I have to look like a little letter. And then there's some scale tickets that are within there you can use for journaling. This is a copy from an old agronomy yearbook. This image is on my Etsy store. I think these are so pretty. When they're coffee dyed, they almost look like fabric to me. Let me see if I could come in a little closer. Okay, now these 3 pages here are from the original book. I've just glued them in so that they're included. And that was a really pretty image that was in the book. Essentials of English, Higher Grades, and let's see, 1920. So it's older than I thought. So the middle of this signature I have made into a little pocket with some goodies in it. There's a tree page. There's some old ledger book page, and then this is a page from an old history book that I thought was kind of... Oh, and the back has the poem, "The Flag Goes By." Sorry about that. So there's a little pocket, and then there's an old Polaroid slide. I think that's what they're called. No, Kodachrome. And there's an image in here that looks like an iris.
My name is Melissa.
Oh, shoot.
Group, and we are performing a market research study on behalf of a major agricultural equipment.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know where I left off, but anyway, here's a little slide that has like an iris image in it, a flower iris. Here's the back of that wallflower image. A little extra place to write. It's one of those scale tickets that I've just glued in. Beautiful flowers. Here's a little tuck spot, an old flashcard, and here's another tag, United States of America dispatch notice. I think it was something to do with the Postal Service, I think. And then this was in another school book that it's an old one, and it looks like somebody's homework, and then it has the mimeograph. Must have been a test, so I thought that was kind of fun since it's an English book. This has a little dangle on it that I made with some those little rings that you can buy to make jewelry. And this is a divider, a little divider that was in a case that held watch crystals. And it's like a hard cardboard that's been laminated. And I just thought they were sweet. They're aged just right, and they just make a fun little something to look at, something different. And then this is an old snap from a cowboy, a western shirt. Okay, and then the start of number 2, the signature number 2, and there's a pretty picture, some pretty background paper. This one has been tipped in as well for extra. This is rather fragile, so you don't want to do a lot of bending, but it just gives you some extra writing space. Another one of my wallflowers from my Etsy shop. I'll try to remember and link to those at the bottom. And while I'm here talking, I appreciate all of my subbies, and if you like my videos, please like them and subscribe and hit the bell to get to see my posts from now on. And here's a large envelope. I liked the color of it. It had the color of those straw papers that people get. So I just have that showing at the edges. And this is a large tag that was from when Tracy Fox had her, was it 3 tag books? But she was so generous to give digitals for a limited time. So you needed to be watching her videos to find out where to get the downloads for these pretty tags. And so that went in. I put a backing on it of, I think this probably is from a book. You know, sometimes you get those white pages, blank pages in books. And then there's a pocket on the side here. So the tag goes in the top, and there's a pocket on the side that has 2. These were from a collection of, what was the name of that guy's? Oh, he was an artist. Did a lot of nature paintings. Audubon. There you go. Lots of coffee dyed pages. This one's in my shop. This is an old envelope that and it was in a scrapbook, and it had been torn and come loose, and I thought, you know what, I still like it. It's very patinaed and vintage looking. I collect old Scotch tape that have been in scrapbooks and all, and so I just glued that there because it was kind of making it hard for me to tuck something there, so that keeps that from catching. And so here's a little journal card that just tucks here. This is from 1937, this envelope. There we go. And then a tag is inside with a little tag that's been topped on there. And then here's a little piece of fabric that has another length of chain and another one of those little dividers. Another little flashcard corner tuck, and a pretty flower there. This was in an old meat grinder box. And then these are just receipts for payment. I think there's 4 of them there. Just kind of prettied this up. There's a little piece of fabric and then some little beads. There's some more birds, and then the last signature has mainly roses, but there's other flowers too. I just love those. Some stamps to hide the and secure the hand stitching. And I love, 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 love that image. I thought this was fun. I like using some of these old images I have as little tucks, and so I really, really love this typewriter, and so I put it on this page that has books, old books behind there. I tucked that there. Well, in another magazine, I happened to cut out this cool advertisement for the Smith Premier typewriter, and I thought, well, let's put it with the typewriter image. Well, I find out that it's the same typewriter, the Smith Premier typewriter. So I love those little fun things that just happen. And then there's some writing space on the back of that advertisement. I found this Darby cigar cuttings bag at an antique store, so I made a little pocket out of that. And here's another one of those tags from Tracy Fox, and I put some really, really old ledger paper on the back for writing. And then on the back, okay, so this is like it's a tuck spot pocket, but it's also a side pocket too. So I thought I needed to put this tab here so that you would know to pull that out. And it's an old flashcard for the letter Y. And there's a little drawing of yarn. Okay, so I'll put that back in later. Some more coffee stained paper. This one's on my Etsy store too. I decorated the strings there. I love this image, just a bunch of floral designs, and I repeated them on each side. And the main picture, the main image is here. It's a beehive and just rake and floral things. So here's the other side of that book, those old books. This is something I've had since, oh, let's see, I went to an auction probably last fall. Just a lot of fun ephemera that I've harvested out of that auction. And this one, the guy must have been in the Nebraska Bankers Association, so he was probably at a group meeting, and this must have been his name tag. But there's this really cool stick pin back here, so be careful. So I've just kind of attached it to this tag here and put it in this pocket. It's the other end of, oh gosh, I just stuck myself. Not too bad. I just snagged on my finger. So this is the other side of the envelope that was in the first signature, I think. So I just made a pocket out of it and made it a little, what do you call that? I don't know. And here's another little tuck spot and a place to journal. Another little tipped in area and place to journal on this grid paper. And a little flip out. That was a flip out back there. That's the end of that signature. And so we have a pocket here in the front for this little tag. And another journal card here. And then I got a hold of a bunch of little bookmarks. And so I grunged it up. It's the Serenity Prayer. And then I put a little place here for you to journal. And so that's fun. That's the name of this little book. Fun. I hope you liked it. I hope you're all well. And spring is just around the corner. So keep a smile on your face. Thanks for coming along. Bye now.